this other guy out, or not completely, but how about that? There's the lineup. Got one of every flavor in there. A Freightliner, Peterbilt, another Peterbilt. I don't know. It's not intentional. It's just what's there. That's where we're at. Man, did I do a live, unlive, or did I do a live? I don't even know. I just got intel. I'm gonna put it out. Either way, whatever. So, so I told you people what was gonna happen. Oh, I did a live. Okay, so I got people in the room. What's up, people? I told you people that Russia wasn't leaving the border when other people said they were, when their generals lied and said they were. I told you that no. What they specifically said was, and this was, a good while back, what they specifically said was all the true. Let's see. It's been a while. I've been running a lot, and well, last night and yesterday I had a high wind event. It nearly flipped me. It picked me up and it set me back down. I've got live video where I did a live unlive and I was driving, and I think I either got 2 or 3. Oh, the video cut off on one of them. That's right. So I would have had 3 trucks on their sides just driving just the way I was going. There was a couple before me though, and there was 2 other ones that they had obviously removed from the highway. So I called in on a couple and quickly realized what they were doing was they were just leaving them there, and that they had worked them earlier. The heavy winds, the real heavy winds, happened while I was sleeping and completely dusted and nastied up the outside of my truck with big mud splotches. It was horrible. They're still there. I cleaned the windshield, but I ain't had time to wash the truck. So I'm in that nasty truck, that nasty brand new truck. Anyway, so I've been busy running, but this is important that I put this out. This is real important. So people, like I said before, I told you guys, man, it's been a good hot minute. I told you before when they were saying, the Russian general said that the troops are leaving the Ukraine border. They were never leaving. Matter of fact, they built a new base down there in Crimea, but they're not trying to build a base on Russia's border. They're amassing troops for an invasion, and they're ready to invade now. Now, let me clarify so you understand exactly what I'm talking about. I said that what the Russian general that was on television said was all the troops that were ordered there for exercises are going to be called back. Not all of them were ordered there for exercises, just like I said. A lot of them were ordered to be part of a new base. A whole bunch of paratroopers came in. Now, well, you see, there's a lot more of them now. And even since Biden's talk, they just, to make a point, Russia sent more troops right afterwards down there. Now, they've slowed down and almost stopped the buildup on the border because they have enough troops now for what they're trying to do. They're going for the water. You see, they cut off the water to Crimea, but they're also going for the country because they have a belief in expansionism, just like the United States government had a belief of what was called manifest destiny. They believed that our country should be from sea to shining sea, from east to west. So they went with manifest destiny, and they kept going west. Just they went, okay, what Russia's doing is called a Nouveau Russia, or Nuovo Russia, a new Russia, but it harkens on the belief that originally, which Turkey has a claim. See, this dude's gonna be famous. Everybody wants to be in my live. Check him out. It looks like Santa Claus walking a sleigh. Anyway, so basically, Russia lays claim to that area, and plus they're using all these excuses to put their troops on the border in the meantime, and in their mind, they are simply reacting to the nuclear missiles that are pointed at them from there. Well, here's the thing. We're not going to send troops. We don't have to send troops. This is my knowing. I stayed up, I asked a question, I've got intel. It is what it is, believe it or not. Just like I told you about the troops sitting there, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. What's going to happen is it's going to be the charge of the heavy brigade. It's going to be quick and over, and 80,000 are going to die. And there won't be enough headstones. There's going to be a shortage. You'll hear it in the news. It'll make the news. There's going to be a shortage of headstones. That's that. I don't know if part of his plan is just to find out where he's going to be shot at from. I don't know if part of they're going to be annihilated. I don't know if part of his plan is to depopulate his country, because that's about what. But of the 100 and something, there's a total of 170,000 or so, or 200,000 that are surrounding that country. 80,000 will be sent in. 80,000 will be gone. Period. And they are looking at, if that even happens, cutting him out of the SWIFT. SWIFT is the monetary, it means he can't trade with any other country. It's going to bring down our economy. It's going to bring down Europe's economy. Then Russia might say, well, hey, we're going to cut off the gas supply to, Georgia and this. They do this every year. They do it just for spite. But this is going to be, they're considering it like a present or a gift, kind of a Christmas thing. We don't have much more time before this pops off. They've got the troops they want in the place they want them. They can't afford to feed them. They cannot afford to have a big base on the border with Ukraine and continue a supply line to it. Even if they're on half rations, their country is going to revolt of them just sitting there and them wasting money. I mean, honestly, but the oligarchs are all going to devalue themselves from currency. They're all going to, you'll watch this happen if it hasn't already. They're going to step away from their holdings and try to liquidate their assets by getting money in their own currency, likely. But even the euro is probably what they'll go to, and they're going to defund themselves from the market, because the market's going to crash theirs, and part of Europe's going to be a problem. Russia does trade with a lot of countries. It's going to break the economy of Russia when this happens. That means they can't trade with anybody, anything. They don't exactly have really great agriculture. They have some cows. They just started making cheese when we cut them off from being able to trade with us, and they couldn't get cheese anymore. They did something stupid and dumped a bunch of tomatoes that they were getting just to be rude, but they should have kept them because the people needed them. But they have a long history. They've killed their own farmers before. They don't care about starving people. They will let them starve and say, oh, well, now we have less people to feed. It's an odd thing that their government does. Look up where they went in, and the farmers were doing well during a famine, and so they wanted everybody to be equal, so they went in and they stole all of their seed for the next year, stole all of their wheat so they couldn't feed their cows, stole their cows, and some of them they killed, the ones that protested up against it, and the other ones starved, and people were hiding wheat and this kind of thing and seeds for next year, and they went in there and destroyed their home to pull it up from under the floorboards and that kind of thing. And of course, there's the Gulag system, where they had people in different camps all across Siberia that would freeze to death. And whether you know it or not, about 500,000 of our people were sent there, and were basically worked to death. They did a horrible job building the Trans-Siberian, or what do you want to call it, little road there. It's not trans, it's not a railway, but their road to the tundra is built horribly and designed by our people to have huge potholes happen in it. It was not made to last. It was made to implode on itself. They did a great job of making a horrible road, yeah, their spirits kind of cry out for people to actually know that they're there. They existed. So all the way up through Vietnam. They were being sent there. So yeah, about 500,000 of our people were there and built that horrible road, and they did a horrible job at it, and they did an awesome job doing that. So that's why they have a crappy road, and they show all these trucks getting stuck, and there's potholes big as cars that can swallow them all up. Imagine if you put a bunch of sticks in the ground, and then you put dirt over it, and or put a sheet over it, and put dirt over on top of that, and then you called that a road. It's made to fall in. So, but they built a nice road to Crimea and a beautiful expansion, whatever, bridge. They're not planning on leaving Ukraine alone. They believe it's expansionism and that it's manifest destiny. They need that to get to the Black Sea and have control. They already have control, but have more control of the Black Sea, and to be able to trade. And then the way their pipeline is planned to go, they plan to make it rich off Europe buying their cheap oil, which if allowed, they will. For some reason, we allowed that to continue. Don't know what that's about. It was shut down and then it came back. But it's a good reason we're not sending troops there. I want to say that, because everything there is going to be annihilated, wiped off the map. 80,000, and there won't be enough headstones. I'm gonna say that again. There's going to be a shortage of headstones. That'll make the news. So everyone wants to say anything? That's just some intel. That's what's popping. It's going to be an early little gift that's going to happen. Nobody likes it. It is what it is. Well, I'll say that too. You can't stop a madman. There you go. I don't know what's up with everybody else. That's just the impending war and the doomed situation over there. But like I said, they kind of need that country to. They used to have part of it. They gave it up. It was autonomous. It is what it is. They think it's there's no more ethnic Russians in that part of that country that they did not annex. They even moved other ones in and tried to hurry it up and give them visas and say, hey, look, they're Russians and they live there in Crimea, just to make the populace whatever. They're trying to vote people in to get people in, maybe the government, and take it over that way. They failed with Ukraine, but since they have the troops there now, they have to move forward. They cannot move back unless we gave them millions and millions of dollars and they said, okay, we accept this and it saves face for Putin. No, but we're not going to. This is not going to happen. It will be probably by the cover of darkness. They'll send a few in, soften things up. They'll send in the rest, and then they'll be gone. Simple as that. We don't need boots on the ground, and they're going to be wiped off the map. And you can watch it happen on either C-SPAN or one of them places. They'll talk all about it. And they'll say, we don't know how long this is going to be happening. It's going to be so fast. It's going to happen so fast and be over so fast, it's not even funny. Because the supply line is just to bring food for them. It's not bringing more troops at this point. He has the amount of troops he's going to commit to the situation. He is willing to lose them. They are expendable. Just like the 500. He said, oh, we don't have any troops there. Yeah, oh, really? You sure? Okay, because we're having a problem. You sure? You can't tell them turn around? Oh, I have no troops there. Okay, fine. 500 were killed. General Mattis. Look up the interview with him. He told it. He's like, hey, okay, you don't have one. We got a problem with some here. And as it turns out, 500 mercenaries. That fast. 80,000. That fast. The twinkling of an eye. They're not bad people. They're doing what they're told. It will be just like the charge of the Light Brigade. It will be the charge of the Heavy Brigade. Everyone wants to say anything? I'm fixing to get off this thing. I got to do a little paperwork. And just thought I'd let you know what's fixing to pop off. The reason the troops have slowed down on the build up there is because he has enough. So, check the comments here. Yeah, just the one there. All right, there. Yeah, so Sealy, all is well, and then all's going to be bad, and all will be well again. And there'll be peace. So, the charge of the Light Brigade becomes the charge of the Heavy Brigade. Look up the poem of the charge of the Light Brigade, and then compare it to this one. 80,000 will be ordered to move and will. There will be a shortage of stones, and all will be still. The charge of the heavy brigade, they never left. There's that. I told you they weren't leaving. So, this is not just a military tactic. This is stupidity on his part. It's insanity. It could, under the wrong hands, if cool heads did not prevail, it could lead to a World War III all-out nuclear exchange. But it's not going to. And we're not going to put troops there. And we don't have to. But we're not letting anybody just walk in and take Ukraine either, because that can't happen, because then he would have too much influence. He can't be allowed to do what he does all the way across there, all the way to the Black Sea. It just can't happen. So, anybody got anything to say? I got to get going. People, God bless you. Do what you do. This is just the answer I got. Just like the answer I got on a lot of other things. And it just is what it is. I hope you're doing good. The wind died back down, but it's going to come right back around the globe. It's going to come right back to us. And for some reason, something is feeding it, or it wouldn't be 100 miles an hour. Just like when the Chelyabinsk meteorite blew up and it sent a shockwave around the world 4 times. These things don't just happen to have that much wind without a power source. That's called over continuity, or energy without input, or free energy that has no effort put to it. It can't happen. Cold and hot air together doesn't make just 100-mile-an-hour winds. A tornado can become one and can create more winds. This is a different situation. It creates a vortex. It brings down more cold from the top, hot from the bottom. That creates a different situation. What we have in our wind event, something has happened. I don't know, up around Alaska, that's where it's coming from, and the polar vortex has already been bent down, but I don't know if they're speeding things up. I don't know. Something is feeding it, and I still haven't figured out exactly what is going on. It can't always be an idiot that threw something in a trash truck, or somebody that did this in a field every single year around the same time when they want it to happen. No, there's something to that. I don't know if they're using something that ignites the rock in the ground, because it's a different kind of ground, rock, the quartz. I haven't figured that one out yet. So like I said, don't be the strong silent type. You want to make a comment, go ahead, and then I got to go. I've got 30 minutes, and I got to roll. I'm going to start on my paperwork. You want to say anything? Do you think, people? And, hey, it's your channel too. Don't be shy. I can tell you this. The economy's going to take a little bit of a hit. Europe's going to take a big hit. I don't know where they're going to get their natural gas from, because they've been buying it from Russia all these years. Might see a bunch of shipments from China. Maybe that's what's going to happen. They always swoop in. They love to do that. As soon as we left Afghanistan, China swooped in. Of course, they don't like them, and they realize that, but they were attacking them on motorcycles and stuff. But they like to do that. They like to try to swoop in and say, hey, there's a vacuum here. Let's fill that vacuum, that void, with our country. And yeah, I'm gonna be filling out some bubble sheets. Let's see here. They love that. And speak now or forever hold your pieces. I'm just gonna turn this live off, because that's all I had to talk about was that. Just the intel. And it's popping off. It's gonna be a gift, a present. So charge of the heavy brigade. I don't know what will happen with Talibanistan. simply because you know, they've done ceasefired their peace agreement with their own government, and they're now shooting police officers. That's what's going on in Talibanistan. And because they didn't release a bunch of bad Taliban people that are in prison, the government released some but didn't give them all the names, and so the Taliban started attacking the government, starting with some of the army and a lot of the police officers at checkpoints. It's like one every day kind of a thing. Their last claim to fame was attacking a schoolhouse full of kids, and they thought that that's their form of retaliation if they don't get their way. So they do messed up stuff. That's what we were there to prevent, and then it just kind of got handed to them, kind of thing. Yeah. And I will say this too. This new variant thing was named after a heavenly cluster, kind of a star kind of thing. You might want to check that out. I'm being vague for a reason. That's how they named it. So if you look that up, it might teach you a little something about what it is. I'll tell you this much. If that new variant is more transmissive, yet very less deadly, yet creates antibodies in people, this would be called a vaccine. Are you hearing me, people? Are you with me here? When something creates antibodies but does not kill you, as if it was a weaker form of the virus, then this is the be-all end-all vaccine. So if it becomes this, we'd be lucky they released it. I mean that it happened. I mean that it. How can I say that without? You get what I'm saying? So did they release the vaccine? There's that. So man, I wish I could put my head on the internet and people could just look inside of it. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't even have to do these little lives. People would understand already, and they'd be like, get out, no way. And then they'd see it to be true, and they'd be like, what? Yeah, they released it during the so-called military games. That's why we don't want to send people to China, and we're coming up with excuses saying that, oh, well, they might hold our athletes for 3 months under their quarantine system, and they can't do that, but they might do that, and so we don't want to go there and compete in their Olympics or this or that, or basketball, any kind of thing like that. No, because they released the virus at the military games. I mean, that's just what happened. They were trying to hit our military with that. And then we're shaking hands with everybody. It was not accidental. But you can't really say that. So see, and that's why Trump said, well, if they did it on purpose, that would be war. So we're skating around that part. But truth is there. I appreciate the like. I'm here. I like it. God bless you for that. So there was no accidental release. There was, it's a level 4 bioweapons lab. There's no accidents. And the timeliness of it all, where they had all of their people, they were willing to shed some people to make it happen, to see what it was about. And then they locked them in their buildings to quarantine them from the rest of their country, because they didn't like those. It was an ethnic cleansing. They didn't like them people anyway, just like they don't like the Uyghur people. And they use them for organ harvesting. They keep them in prison, and then they take them out and take their organs, and somehow they can magically come up with a match for people in weeks or months, when other countries take years and years. This is what they do. If you're China, that's what you do. So basically, things don't just escape a level 4 bioweapons thing, and they blame it on the wet market because, well, they were selling some tested animals there, but it wouldn't have done anything if they had cooked them or whatever. But that's not even where it came from. It was in the military games. It was everybody they shook hands with, and then it was also a release. They thought, though, that it was genetically inclined to kill European DNA. Instead, it took so many of their people out and spread. And they, I think, have another one that's 10 times worse, and that's why they want to build a bioweapons lab in Afghanistan. And as soon as they can, they're not going to make anything there. They're just going to ship what they already have there, and they're going to release it there. That'll be their next release. But it'll be an accident. It'll really come from a wet market in France or something funky. It's kind of what they do. I don't know what else to chat about. People, God bless you. Have an awesome night. Just know what's happening and say, oh, something popped off for Ukraine. Huh. Don't think we're going into World War III. It will be over before it happens. Don't think that Biden needs to send troops. He's doing the right thing. His handlers, whatever's going on with that, who knows? Maybe his cognitive function is there. For whatever reason, he came up with the right solution and the right answer. God bless him. You know, and God bless the people that's running things. The Army, the Navy, the Air Force, Marines, and the Coast Guard. And Space Force. That's our 46th president. It's all those right there. So, I'm going to get off this thing. Y'all stay safe. Be careful out there when the wind comes back around this side of the world. And it could be even stronger this time. If you're empty, don't be like me. I was after the effect, though. I would not have left that night in that dusting that happened. I was sleeping at that time. And then I stayed a couple more hours just to chill because it said it was supposed to end, the wind event was supposed to end at 4:45 that's the alert they sent to my phone and everybody else's, but it didn't end. And so when I went past that airport, past the other truck that flipped, it lifted me. It had the trailer up. It had part of my tractor up all the way to the front passenger side steer tire. I don't know if I was above the ground on the front tire and like an inch or a foot. I just know that I lost control. It was a situation where I was steering and counter steering just like those trucks that try to go ski mode like the Knight Rider thing and get up all on one side of the vehicle. They do that and they're steering right left to keep it straight. That happened, and then it let me down so easy. So I know that for real the body was up as far as it could extend off that tire, and the tire was lifted. I got lucky. I don't know how far the trailer was up, but it was ugly too. It was not pretty. It was not like a straight line. It was right, left, all over the place. And you know, thankfully, it worked out. Nobody was around me except the truck way back behind me. And if he got that on video and put that on the internet, well, that was me. It was ugly. It was not. I had no control. I was trying to counter steer, but you don't have control on that. Not cocked up on one side, and I didn't even see in the rearview mirror at that time. I couldn't even see the trailer in the rearview mirror because I'm too busy looking ahead and holding the steering wheel. I couldn't at that angle. I thought it was going to flip me. So at least on my side, anyways. So got lucky, dodged a bullet. Don't be like me. Wait out the wind events. They're just too much. It will flip you. I think those trucks that flipped actually stopped during the event because they were on the side of the road, and then the higher wind came and pushed them over. That's what it looked like to me. There was no drag marks. They were flipped completely on their side, and they were on the emergency strip but flipped over from it. That's not normal. Every single one of them was flipped to the side of the road, except the one in the center. I think he was probably rolling about 70, 75 or so. But I got video as I passed him after I left the truck stop. But it was going, in case you don't know the area, I-80 east to west from Council Bluffs, I think it was, but basically Iowa, I-80 going west or east, either way, but west to Lincoln, Nebraska, and then from Nebraska down across over to pick up Highway 29 south. All that area. There were trucks, too many trucks for them to even mess with. They didn't even try. and it was too windy for them to do anything. There'd have been, I don't know, there was 5 of them on the on Highway 2 to 29, and then down 29, and I got 2 or 3 of them on video, or the video cut out. I got 2, me passing by them, and they look like the backside of a road sign. The bottom end of an 18-wheeler is not clean, so it looks like the backside of a road sign. It's almost camouflage. You really have to look for them when you're looking. So if you see one, call the police, because someone might not have reported it. Yeah, so in the winter events, y'all shut down. Just be the captain of the ship. I'm getting off this thing now. I'm out, people. God bless you. Peace.